Listen
well,
to tapes, Clay.
We are finally fucking here after a long journey, about 10 years of work on Mr. Jermaine's part, after about 8 years of teasing. The fall off is finally here, and we're going to talk about it in depth. We're going to go through the fall off, a long awaited album, and Trey and I both J. Cole fans. And look, man, I'll tell you what, I don't think I've ever really felt the Jay-Z lyric more than I do right now of, do you fools listen to music or do you just skim through it? Because the shit that I've been seeing online about this album, now granted, I was blocking and muting people left and right that were saying anything negative about the fall off, so it dropped off pretty quickly, but it's been pretty obnoxious. So I'm glad to be
behavior.
I'm glad to be talking to you, someone who I think enjoyed the album. What were your initial thoughts? How were you anxious listening to it? You listened to the first disc on release, right?
First off, man, let's get a little foreplay in here. Like, you just jumped right into what we're doing.
We have to, you know? I'm going in dry.
All right, before we just start here, this is a Blake and Trey exclusive episode. Not for any particular reason other than we're kind of on an off week and we want to talk about this while it's hot. And I think that it definitely deserves an episode. We kind of didn't really want to break from our Wheel of Fate and Time since we'd already done that a couple times this year. How do I feel about the album overall? I really enjoyed it. It is very dense. It takes a high level of attention, which, is intentional. It's not necessarily a bad thing. I think it's a little long. I think the 2 disc is a bold decision, but I think it's jam packed with a lot of like what it feels like J. Cole had to say for his, for an album that's been taking him, like you said, 10 years, and for what he is considering as of now his final album. I do like that he said that in one of those press releases. He says, this is my planned final album. He's not necessarily committing to that.
Right.
He might get the inspiration, tomorrow to continue on. But I think the beat selection is fantastic throughout. A lot of it is pretty minimalist production, which I think it really gives way for him to shine, like with his storytelling and with his lyricism. And something that sounds really dumb because I realized how dumb it was when I thought it. But like, I guess I just didn't realize how much of a Southern rapper J. Cole was until this record, and how much he's carried on that tradition of like real like storytelling, like Outkast and and he always has been that. Like, this isn't anything new, but I think the depth and the layers of the stories and kind of the different like concepts of him being 29 and 39 and all of this type of stuff, and the way that he's able to weave all of it together. It really, I think this is probably his one of his better albums for doing so. I mean, For Your Eyes Only is like a concept album, right? So that one's kind of, I think, a little I would kind of separate that from the others, but this kind of in a way is a concept album too. So I thought it was great. I do think it's dense, but we can get into some tracks that I probably would have left out as we go track by track. But I love it.
Good. I'm excited. I'm glad that you loved it, and I agree. I mean, for those of you that don't know, maybe haven't listened to it, or maybe don't know much about it, it's essentially a story of J. Cole going back to Fayetteville at the ages of 29 and the ages of 39. So disc 1 is 29, disc 2 is 39. And yeah, I mean, look, I was so nervous going into it because I was so excited for it, and he's been talking about it for so long. I was like, please, just like, don't be bad, man. Like, just be. If you're not going to be great, be good. And it far exceeded that expectations and put that to rest. I genuinely think conceptually, musically, that it's his best album. I truly do. Like, because I've been trying to rack my brain of like, is that recency bias or is there another album? I think The Off Season is close. I think Born Sinner is close. I think Forest Hill Drives is close. I know you're a huge fan of For Your Eyes Only. But yeah, to me, like, this is just, there's a piece of every one of his albums in this, and you can tell that he really put a lot of work into it, which I really, really loved. And I really, I'm interested, we can blow our load now, but I had a theory. I had a theory that because I am younger and I'm closer to 29 than 39, that is the reason why I liked disc 1 better than disc 2. And I wonder if 10 years from now, 6 years from now, if I'll revisit it and be like, you know what? Actually, Disc 2 is better. Because I see a lot of people saying Disc 2 is better. And I'm like, I wonder if they're older than me, if they have a special connection, like anything like that. Did you, which one did you enjoy better? You could
I
just
think
drop
that
it now.
yeah, I think disc 2 I enjoy more, but I think disc disc 1 I enjoy more. I'm getting 229 and whatever. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Disc 1 I think I enjoy more, but disc 2 has more like standout tracks. I think The Fall Off is Inevitable is probably his best song he's ever made. I mean, it's that song, and
So good.
dude, it's so good and it's masterful, and it's like references that Nas track that did something similar, and like the way that he's able to like loop in his influences throughout this in like a really tasteful way, which we'll get to that when we get to that. It's masterful. So without further ado,
Without further ado,
let's hop into it. Let's start with 29 intro, and I'm kind of taking your slot there, but
no, that's okay.
man, let me tell you, the smile on my face when I was first listen, I was back home in Birmingham. I had my headphones on right at midnight. I was, I'm an old man now, so staying up till midnight on a school night or a work night was a bit of a stretch, but I was like, I can do this. And when I hear James Taylor, I keep 2 CDs in my car at all times. One is Revolver by the Beatles. I want no comment from you. 2 is James Taylor Greatest Hits.
Very nice.
Carolina on My Mind is obviously on that CD. So I was just like, I fucking love James Taylor. So like, shout out North Carolina. What'd you think of this? As kind of a bold way to introduce this album?
I thought it was very bold, but I think it fits so perfect. Like if we talk relentlessly about perfect opening tracks, and this really is the perfect opening track. It's 40 seconds of an artist talking about Carolina being on his mind, and you know that this is going to be about Cole's relationship with North Carolina. Like it's the perfect way to start this. There's no other way in my mind to start it, and I love it. And I love the outro of it dramatically cutting off and there being gunshots, which scared the shit out of me when I was listening to it, but I thought it was great. So yeah, then it goes into 2-6, which is, I guess, can we consider this a single? Did we land on this being a single because there's a music video for it?
I think this is the one that he's like put out as a single. I mean, there's no real such thing as a single when you put the whole album out, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this is the one I think that's getting like promoted and stuff.
Yeah. This song, like, if you're gonna consider this the real intro song, holy fuck, what a way to start it. Like, hard as shit beat. I love my favorite part that I kept rewinding was the 2-6, lot of screws loose with my brother, and then he got a speech impediment from choppers. He be cuddling. He say like the way that shit be stuttering. Like, dude, that shit is so...
What's it called? Is it an onomatopoeia? Is that what we've had this?
Yeah,
stuttering. Yeah, it's gas.
It's so good.
Yep.
And then I also loved in the second verse when he's talking about how he's not actually humble, which that's like the long running critique and joke about J. Cole is he's so humble. He always looks like a homeless guy. Like he rides around on his bike. And the second verse is him saying, people be saying I'm humble as hell. Just know that I'm bougie. I got standards. And then he says at one point that my favorite part is my cribs, they never get sold to me. Then bitches get built for me. That's such a hard ass flex.
And as far as like in the storytelling aspect of this, like he's kind of coming back to the city with like some bravado and some confidence, and that's kind of like where he was saying that he's starting is like coming back after he has made it, right? Like
right.
And so I like that it starts out not being introspective. It starts out not like, being the typical J. Cole thing. It starts out with like, I'm a rapper coming back to my city and I fucking made it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. It fits so perfectly. And I love like, I picture, if I were a 29-year-old that had just blown up, like I would be acting the same way. And I love that it starts this way. You could see it. We'll get to when we get to the last track on the album, or second to the last track. But it's that ego slowly devolves as the disc goes on, which I think is really, really cool. Okay, so next track. By the way, I had 2-6 as one of my top tracks for this disc. By the way. That? Yeah, I figured we might as well. It was really hard for me. It keeps changing every time I listen to it, so it doesn't really mean much. But fair. Okay, then we get into Safety. And you and I were talking about this the night that it came out.
About it being like a 90s beat and like
Yeah.
the wow, 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 wow. It's like
Yes.
very it's pretty simple, really. I mean, a lot of these are, but like it's just like a boom bap 90s beat. Hold on, I can't tell if that's
Yeah.
coming. Sorry. I had it turned up
No,
too
you're
loud in
good.
my headphones, and I was like, is this coming through on the actual pod? Because we'll get fucking gratata out of here.
Yeah. True. Yeah, I couldn't get over how 90s this beat was. It reminded me so much of a beat that you would hear on like Illmatic. Like that's what it really reminded me of the beats on Illmatic, because and I know that he's obviously Nas is a huge influence for J. Cole, as he's talked about many times, but it was such an interesting vibe. Like it caught me off guard, but I really liked it. I thought it fit really well.
Yeah, it was a very immediate come down from like an almost like trap beat before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very true. I also like the I mean it's an interesting like kind of story he's telling about a friend reaching out to him and speaking to him, you know, after his fame, and then in verse 3 talking about somebody who used to be a friend of his that ended up dying of AIDS, and kind of how they looked at him, how they spoke about him when they, you know, when he was kind of choosing to live out his lifestyle in peace. And I don't know, I thought that was a interesting story to tell from, I don't know, in a hip hop song like this.
Right.
Like I thought it was a cool story to tell, you know, and to be that open and honest about it, I thought was super special. So I'm glad that he was very open about that and realized, you know, hey, we've grown from the way we used to speak about these people, talk about these people, things like that. I thought that was cool.
Nah, times change. I know that's wrong now that we've grown. I wish I could apologize because we did them wrong.
Yep.
It's pretty
Such
heavy.
a great line.
Yeah.
It really is. It really is.
Yep.
Okay, next track. So I really want to know what your initial thoughts
Not
were
a huge
of Run a Train.
Not a huge fan. This is one that I probably would have cut. I just don't like Future. I kind of just find him annoying. Yeah.
I did not think that you were gonna like this song.
You would be correct in that assumption.
The overwhelming sentiment is the chorus.
It's
and
so annoying, dude. It's just it throws me off. I can't even tell you anything about the verses necessarily. And also like when did this hookup be a thing, like become a thing? Is like, are they like boys like this? You know, because he only has a handful of features.
Yeah, I don't know, but like what's really funny is first off, when I first heard it, I thought he was doing a Future impression. I didn't think Future was actually on the song.
Okay.
Because Sam and I were texting about it. I was like, it sounds like he's like trying to be Future. And then Future says the outro, the very end. I was like, oh, that's why there's a credit. But apparently he is in the chorus too. But I was going through a really, really big Future phase right before this album dropped. I was like, this is perfect timing. Like, this is perfect timing. But I will say the chorus is a little fucking jarring.
Yeah.
To say the least.
It's a little annoying. But I mean his verses are okay. This is just like it's not really a standout track for me.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that if you can get past the chorus part, it makes it more enjoyable for sure. And there's some good lines in here. He shouts out Wemby in this, trying to make a legal dollar seem harder than guarding Wemby when you're hardly 6 feet tall. If somehow I could ball, which I love. Gotta love a Wemby shout out there.
Yeah,
so
it's like a new thing in hip hop, right?
Yeah. Now that we can stop talking about LeBron and Steph, and we can start talking about Wemby and Anthony Edwards and people like that. So I think that's cool.
We're getting old.
Yeah, true. I enjoyed it, but yeah, I see why. I definitely understand why people don't like it.
Yeah.
Okay. Poor Thing.
Love Poor Thing. Love it.
It might be.
It's
like I said.
It's in my top for this disc for sure. This is very reminiscent of 2014 Forest Hills Drive. Like kind of the way that he's like sing song in the hook. And just like the way he's rapping, it feels very 2014 Forest Hill Drives to me.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think that like I said, it changes like every day, but I've revisited this song in the Let Out probably the most. Like I'll get somewhere into the album and I'm like, let me go back and listen to Poor Thing again. Like, let me just rinse this one more time.
And the
I
like
will
the
say
vitriol that he says punk bitch, like it's just like he's just the anger,
it's
you
so
can
good.
feel it. It's sick.
And it doesn't like I don't get sick of it. Like, and I was surprised because Amanda like hates repetition stuff like that. And I was playing it in the car, and she was like, I thought she was gonna be like, is he gonna say anything else? Like, is she gonna do this? But she was like, this whole album is so good. Like, it's so good when we're listening to this song in the car. But I saw a tweet or a Threads post that was like, whoever J. Cole wrote this song about needs to go reevaluate their life. Like,
Mhm. This has
he's
got to be like
ripping this guy a new ass.
an enemy that he like always had back home. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's so good. But I do love in that third verse just the message of somebody who's easily influenced by the people and the culture around them, and the fact that he's basically like, you were never like this, like you just succumbed to peer pressure, that's all it was.
Mhm.
Like, you're not actually this guy. I think it's an interesting story to tell. But man, he's fucking spitting on this song, and I love the production of it too. I really
Yeah,
really like the
the
beat
way that
for
he
it.
sings that line about if I if I take a L, I won't feel no way or whatever. Yeah, that's the exact line. It's just like it's the notes that he hits there. Like it sounds so quintessential J. Cole. It's
Yeah, it
lovely.
does, and he does it a handful of times on this out. Like, there's a lot of sing song aspects, but there's little pieces of like he'll sing in one line of one song or whatever, and it just
Hmm.
he just always times it perfectly, which I
Yeah.
love.
Um.
Okay,
All right, we're rifling through these, but
yeah, you can stop me at any point if
no,
you
no,
want to
no,
talk
no, no,
about
no,
it
no, we're
longer.
good. It's flowing. All right,
um,
legacy. What are your thoughts?
J Cole and PJ. So I thought it was very. I'll tell you this. I thought it was very interesting that a kid that I work with that I texted you about this said that he didn't like the album and was like, where can I play this? Like, I can't play it partying, which is a young people consensus. He's like, I can't play with my girl. And he's like, but you know, one song that really does hit? He was like, Legacy. And I thought that was the most bizarre shit I had heard out of every song that he could have picked.
I mean, you could play this
That
with
he
your
picked
girl
Legacy.
though. Like,
You could play this with your girl.
I
That part
love
is-
this. I think this is the one that I text you about. I was like, this kind of remind me of that Lil Uzi Vert album.
Yeah, yeah.
And it does, like, he kind of sticks to this, like, almost like an R&B vibe throughout it, and it's great, and it's got that like it's like a doubled up vocal, and like, I've got to find and it just like
Yeah.
floats. It's really floaty. Like I could snowboard to this song. It's
True.
great.
Great snowboard song. I wrote that this is the first love song, and in my head, I was debating on like, is he writing this about Fayetteville? Like, is it not a girl, and is it about his relationship with Fayetteville, North Carolina? Because I kind of got that vibe from it, but also at the same time, it's very easily could be a song about. If you consider the time in his life, 29, he was in the process of blowing up, and he was working his ass off. So it very much could easily be just at face value, like he missed a chance of somebody that he really loved and cared about because he was too busy working, which
Yeah.
I thought was interesting. To talk about that sacrifice of I succeeded here, but I missed this in the process. And I do also love that line where he says, he does the double voice thing where he goes, riding up to that A-town, tour bus, no Greyhound.
Mhm.
I do like that line a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought you would like that song.
Yeah, this is right up my alley.
Yeah.
Side note, so I was trying to like look at the lyrics like when it was coming out, and it was like I was like trying to do it on like formerly known as Rap Genius, and
Yeah.
it was so
That's what I
bad.
have pulled up right now.
It was so
It was all
bad.
over the place.
Yeah, it was like it was there. You could tell someone was trying to do it with AI, and it was
Yeah.
just like missing complete. It was almost hilarious. It was
The features were wrong.
Yeah,
Like, it
everything
was a
was
shit
wrong.
show.
But I mean,
yeah,
like,
it
they're
was a
trying to do
shit
it in
show.
real time, but it was interesting.
Yeah. Okay. What do we have next? Another future joint.
Yeah. I like the song. I still don't like the Future verse. But I love this like creepy little key line. Like it's
Yeah.
almost there's a word for it where like it's like offbeat in a way. Like
Yeah,
it's not like
off key. It's like off key
yeah, it's
almost.
kind of like off
Or,
key. I don't
yeah.
know, but it's like it's jarring and like it's creepy and it's kind of a little violent in a lot of ways, especially that first verse.
Yep.
It's yeah, it has a great spot in this on this disc too. I kind of view these as
Yeah.
almost two separate albums.
Yeah,
You know,
100%.
like
I agree.
it's like a true double album, and so this like really kind of carries you into what I would consider probably the better half of the record.
Yeah, because this is really this is the transition point, right? This is
Yeah.
going from coming back high in your confidence, high ego, and then this is what it's accumulating into. And you can, I mean, he says, then this is one of my favorite parts is he says, "This is a suicide note. Come here, look what I wrote. I'm about to kill myself. Fuck J. Cole. I don't even want this role. I want to rebuild myself." And that's like such a heavy ass line. But I do love not only Future's chorus or verse, I guess, when he says "cruising the streets that I grew up in," but Thames, man, Thames is so good on this song. Her voice is fucking chef's kiss, and her opening lines are finding you lose when you choose to neglect the roots that we grew to protect us. That is so fucking good. Like, it is so good. It is so emblematic of this album and the themes, and she has tons of lines in here about that with that theme. But I think that idea of like when you turn your back on the people you grew up with, the place you grew up with, that it has a negative consequence. I could listen to the Thames verse or chorus, whatever you want to call it, over and over again. I think it's beautiful.
You sound like you're ready to move back to Birmingham, Alabama.
It kind of made me nostalgic for Birmingham a little bit.
Wow, really?
I was like, J. Cole loves his city so much. Like, why don't I feel that way about Birmingham? I was like, maybe I need to get in a Honda Civic, record an album, and drive around Birmingham and just sell it in
CDs out
Target parking lots.
Yeah,
exactly. But yeah, great fucking song.
No, there is kind of that like overarching thing, like about like just your hometown or like where you grew up at or whatever. Like that, this album does kind of pull out that feeling, which is pretty impressive.
It really is, and like you said, like it made you didn't realize he was such a Southern rapper. And I keep seeing posts of people being like, "This J. Cole album like got me feeling like I'm from Fayetteville and I've never been there a day in my life."
Yeah, right. It made me nostalgic for North Carolina, honestly.
Yeah, that's fair. True.
I haven't been gone for there for about a year now, so it's really not even that long.
Like, time to go back.
Yeah.
Okay, then we get into Who the Fuck You Is. If this was the transition point, this is the launch off the transition point.
This is
how did you feel about it?
This is like an all gas, no brakes track. I like it a lot. There's a line here where he's like, "Evil ain't the paper with the eagle, but what people would do for dollars. Let off a troop of hollows from German Rugers. They used to do the honors. Congruent with that shit I'd do to rhymers on Deuteronomy. Ain't shit friends can do but honor me." Like the switch up in the rhyme scheme from like dollars, honors, and then congruent rhymers, then Deuteronomy, honor me is just like fucking masterclass.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's
so
unbelievable. I think the chorus is a little repetitive, but I think that's kind of part of it.
Yeah, I think so too. Everybody kept.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
That's all you.
Everybody kept saying that this was old Eminem flow. I kept seeing that, and I was listening through the album, and I hadn't gone back, and I was like, I don't really hear it until you get to verse 2, and he does the "every bar is a part of a murder wrath. Call Peter, then people chopping a bird in half. Breaking further down whatever's going to earn the math. Exchange pounds for dollars and never convert to cash." And I was like, okay, this does sound like an old Eminem song to me. It sounds like a Slim Shady LP flow, basically.
It kind of has a little bit of the Jitty flow too, honestly.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I thought it went very hard, and then the beat switch is kind of jarring, like when you get to the third verse. Yeah, and it's like rattle your fucking car hard. And sometimes I listen to it, sometimes I skip it, but I do love the song as a whole. And you're not gonna love this, or maybe you will, I don't know. It reminds me of GNX, like the Kendrick album, like when he does all those beat switches on GNX. It's pretty similar. Yeah, that's fair. I had it as initially I had it as one of my top songs, but now Poor Thing is kind of taking its place. So it's still up there though. Still up there. Get a lot of replays from me.
Well, we're now getting into what is my favorite song, which is Drum and Bass. On this
Nice.
disc. And yeah,
Very nice.
dude, this song is perfect. It's just it's like the same kind of thing with the keys, but it's like almost like a jazz beat. It's fucking great.
Yeah, I think that, and this was one of my favorites when I first listened. It's still up there. There's a few gems, and I texted you about this when I heard it immediately. But my greatest of wins came when I annotated my gems. The shit I rise with fire. I got my hand afraid of my pen. I was just like, Jesus Christ, that bar's too fucking hard. But what I really like about the song is the second verse. He says, when these young dudes so violent, they'll let off at God in the flesh. My mind is a mess, conflicted because their energy's wicked. Their need to impress at a high while their guidance is less. And while I feel powerless to change the power that is, a part of me is yelling loud as shit. You ain't trying your best. Too busy selling out arenas and flying on jets, life on cloud nine. And I can't deny it, I guess. And that like really is, this is what I was talking about with with this disc kind of transitioning and setting you up for the second disc, because that piece right there in that verse is him at war with himself, seeing what's going on in Fayetteville and seeing what's going on in his community and saying, could you do more? Maybe you're not doing enough. Maybe you are doing enough. Maybe you're too busy traveling and selling records. And it's almost like each track, he's aging a year in his life. And when you get to Drum and Bass, he's in his mid 30s now. He's not 39, but he's looking back thinking, what else could I have done for my community? I thought it was just really cool. I just really, really like it.
Yeah, I like that. Like he does a really good job of what's it called? Like it's just like a descriptive when he's talking about stepping outside for a breather. At that very moment I seen her, she had the glow of a Leo while I controlled my demeanor. Like it's this very like visceral like feeling of like taking a breath when something like intense is happening around you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. Great fucking song. Definitely in my top for this. But then we get to, oh wait, where am I right now? Hang on.
We're at the let out. We're at the fucking let out.
Oh, I don't have it up on my Genius for some reason.
Oh, bro, I thought you were very anti-rap Genius. You're anti like them like the descriptive part.
Yeah, I don't read the descriptive. I just use it for lyrics. Yeah, the let out, man. Like if Poor Thing isn't my favorite song, the let out is my favorite song. I love this fucking song. I cannot stop. I cannot get enough of it.
This is the one that has this should also be a promoted single, I feel like. The chorus is such an earworm. And it's 100%. Just, and it's really cool, like the way that he's, you know, just talking about like when the club's closing down, you know, and like are we going to get through like kind of the end of the night, like are we going to survive like where we're coming from, is the kind of what I took from it, is like kind of using that as like an allegory for like, are we going to survive our hometown, like can we make this better, you know, that type of stuff, when it's it's in line with the rest of the record.
Yeah, but also just straight up like I'm sure for J. Cole and like where he grew up, he's probably thinking like, we're about to get out a bunch of dudes drunk, probably on some shit. We're all going to be in the parking lot. People are going to be coming down. Like, is shit about to break out right now? Like,
yeah.
Which is what the speech is talking about at the end of the song, where the guy's like, they don't want to go home. Things turn violent, or we're going to survive to let out. But I just love this. It's like it's a rock song.
Yeah.
It starts with this weird, like Marachi band shit at the beginning, and then it goes into, there's electric guitar, there's a solo, he's singing, like he's not really rapping, and like you said, the chorus is fucking, it just gets stuck in your head. But I love the fact, like I texted you that night and said, who the fuck you is into Drum and Bass, into the let out is just such an insane 3-track run.
Yeah,
it's so repeatable, you know.
Yeah, I mean, and I would put like Bunch Red Blues in there as well. I mean, I know it's not like like it kind of opens this little run, like it's that's more so the block for me. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's fair.
fucking great. I know we always talk about 3-track runs, and yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm addicted to this song, and I think it's just the sing song nature of it. I can't
Yeah,
get it out of my head.
I
Um,
love a good hook, you know.
Same, and I don't have a problem saying
I
that.
don't have a problem
I think
saying
it's
that. You know,
I
I'm
think
not
it's
better than
good.
anybody else.
Exactly. Okay. I'm really excited to talk about Bombs in the Ville. Hit the gas. How did you feel about it?
I think it's a great. I consider this the closer. The next track is kind of a bonus, little like almost like an outro. This is he's kind of like just I feel like letting loose on like the themes of this whole like first disc. The like fucked up in the head. I felt confused. Sure glad I ran back and I was scared. You found somebody new. Ran off and had a child or two. Like that to me is it's directly about some like forgotten love, obviously. And I
Yeah.
think like once again just kind of in your typical hip hop fashion, like whether it's about like also like about hip hop or about like Fayetteville. I think it's kind of those all three of those things can be interplayed there.
Yeah, 100%. I completely agree with you. I even wrote down like this is my closer to this disc. And granted, he does put bonus on Lonely at the top, but like part of me wishes that he didn't. Part of me wishes that it was either somewhere else in this disc or if it wasn't in there at all
Yeah,
because
or like put
this
out a
is a closing
deluxe
song.
edition and have a couple bonus tracks included or something.
Yeah.
I also want to shout out the line "gray hairs on my head mean I know a few things," because as someone who has a few gray hairs on their head, that's exactly what that means. It means that I know a few things. So
You do know a few
yeah,
things. That's true.
yeah, it's
I
sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say like I had so many emotions listening to this song. I think it's the most beautiful song on the first disc. I think it's the most emotionally raw song on the first disc. I love just this one line where he says time's not slowing down, and it reminded me so much. For some reason it reminded me of Circles by Mac Miller. Like I had this same feeling for some reason just when I heard that line specifically, just about the passage of time and looking back on your life, and the verse about him FaceTiming his younger self and showing him his sons and being like, look, I know things are hard, but like you're on the right path. Keep doing what you're doing. I think it is such a powerful song. I had so many thoughts, and like I keep when I'm not driving or at the gym or something, I like to go back and listen to it and just like kind of let it wash over me and feel everything from it. Yeah, I think it's phenomenal. I think it's the best. Like it's a perfect closer in my eyes. I think it's the perfect closer to the themes of this disc.
Now that you pointed out, it definitely feels like a Circles type production too. Like the whole song almost
Right?
has that type of like I don't know, just like almost like a future R&B, like very emotional and like emotive track. So that's a good call. I didn't even really snipe that.
Yeah, and instrumental too, right? Like it
Yeah,
has an
like
instrumental feel
yeah
to it, like
the
Circles
guitar
does.
part too, and yeah,
Yeah,
no,
yeah, thought it was great. Um, and then yeah, we go into Lonely at the Top. And if we're gonna talk about songs that we would leave off, I really like this song, but for what we just mentioned, I would leave it off.
yeah, I would leave it off. So for this, just to recap, for this disc, I would have left off Run a Train and Lonely at the Top. Everything else can stay. Um, but
That's fair.
those are two that I would probably have pulled from this. And then
I
before,
do.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, before we go into the second disc, I just want to call myself out that like I did not spend as much time with this one as I did with the first one, just because of
Same.
like I would like replay it, you know what I mean? Like as we kind of become obsessed with albums, a lot of times we start from the top, right? And so now
Yeah.
like going forward, because as we're going through this, like I feel like I have like a really strong opinion on all of those tracks, right? And
Yeah.
I don't have as strong of an opinion on these next ones. There's like some that I really like, and we'll talk about those, but I think going forward, I'll start on disc 2 because it is its own thing.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
agree. Before we do, I do want to say I do love the message that he's trying to send with Lonely at the Top. Almost, at least to me, is that this whole album is about facing your fall off and moving on from that, but I feel like he is saying, look at all these people that were before me that made a monumental impact on me, and he's essentially speaking about young kids that he's had an impact on, right? And like, how can you really say that you've fallen off, or how could you still not be on a you're on a Mount Rushmore, your own Mount Rushmore, if you're on somebody else's, right? And I think that's a cool concept to think about, right? Because we all have those people, like especially old heads. Like nobody will ever take Eminem from me. I don't care if he drops an album full of Fact and Fact 2 over and over again. Like he's still going to be on my Mount Rushmore. That's never going to go away. So sure. I do love that. But yeah, get us started on disc 2.
Yeah, so with disc 2, we open up with another little bit of an intro track on 39 intro. So we're kind of like changing things up a little bit here. This also kind of has that same like Lil Uzi Vert, or excuse me, did I say Lil Uzi before? I meant Lil Yachty. Like feel.
Oh yeah, you may have.
Yeah, get live edits. This is live and direct, baby.
Yeah, exactly.
And we love that phrase. But yeah, it's just like kind of another little like sing-songy intro, and it's gorgeous. It's long.
Which long as fuck.
Yeah, it's super long.
Longest track on the album.
Exactly. And like the second part, he's like kind of going in almost like a drill rap type of deal. It's pretty great.
Yeah, I thought this was a Post Malone song when I first heard it, because that's what it sounds like at the beginning. And yeah, I mean, I was like, it started, and I had to switch my mindset, like knowing the theme of the album. It was like, okay, this is gonna be different. Like, let me feel it out, because I didn't love the guitar and the singing at the beginning, but then he. Arguably, like a lot of people are saying this is his best rapping on the album. This second verse that he does when he starts just going the fuck in. And I do love it. I think it's a good intro track for what is the next disc. Like really, I think it really sets the tone for the next disc, but didn't have a ton of passionate feelings about it.
Yeah, same. And then we go into what's my favorite track on both discs, but it definitely just 2 is The Fall Off Is Inevitable. It's just so like it's clever, it's intelligent, like the way that he's doing this backwards storytelling thing about his entire career is beautiful. The music video is one of the coolest things that I've ever seen.
Sick as fuck.
And you know, not to bring Pretty Lights into it, but I always will, so whatever.
Of course.
So Pretty Lights has had this phrase since like 2016. It's called "Looking Back from the Future," like that he's making music so where he's like looking back from the future, and that's like when the single came out for this, I sent it to a PL friend of mine. I was like, hey, like this actually finally happened in hip hop, like because that's what he's doing. He's looking back at his life from his future state, which for me just made it all the more better. And
nice.
I mean, there's just like some of the lines in here are fantastic, but really just the overall like the story and like keeping it all together in a very difficult narrative. Like I feel like he probably might have worked on this song for 10 years and it inspired, you know, and it inspired a lot of what came after it in this disc.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. And I think it's great. I mean, he's paying homage to Nas's Rewind, which you brought up earlier, which is the same concept, a narrative story told in reverse. But I do love the part in this where he says bank account thin and income streams nowhere near as diverse, and though I'm blessed, I'm seeing stressing from hearing the chirps of naysayers who only days later I don't care to convert. It's like he has this thought of like, I'm gonna change their mind, I'm gonna get my streams back, I'm gonna get my popularity back, and then the next day he's like, I don't give a fuck about that. I'm just gonna keep doing J. Cole.
Exactly. And like the way that that's like reversed in time is just so cool.
So good, dude. So fucking good.
From there we move into The Villist with Erykah Badu. So once again, another like little bit of an homage here to Outkast, which is
Elevators.
Which is super cool that Erykah Badu is down to do that.
So sick.
Yeah, dude. It's like I would love to be listening in on that conversation when he was like, "Hey, do you want to do this?" And you know, she's notoriously, and I don't want to say difficult to work with. Like, she's not like hard to work. She's hard to get on anything, right? Like she kind of does her own thing. So it's really sick, and obviously, you know, with her and Andre and all that history and stuff there, it's just really cool that he was able to make this happen.
Never in my life did I think we would have a J. Cole Erica Badu song. Like
Right.
I just
Or she's
that
singing
shit
the
is
hook on elevators.
yeah, like it's so sick, and like you can't really hear her a ton, but like he uses her properly.
Yeah.
And I do love one of my favorite lines that I missed that Sam had actually texted me is when he says, "If Pac is Jesus, then I ride around and play the hymns. Life goes on, even in this modern day of algorithm moderated streaming service automated blends." And that is so fucking good because, and especially it hits hard right now because my automated Spotify hip hop playlists have sucked fucking dick recently. So it was like perfect timing. He hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
So yeah, good song,
Nice.
good song.
Yeah, and you know, I think he does a lot more. He had that post about like the pictures that were in his, you know, in his bedroom or posters or whatever, and I think he does a lot more of that, like referencing to like, you know, the classic rappers and like different type of things in this disc than he does in disc one, which keeps it like fresh. Because like I said, this is really dense. So there's a lot of like cool, like, oh, that's neat type of moments in this, which is kind of like refreshing for the length of it.
Yep. Agreed.
Cool.
Okay, next.
Old Dog with Petey Pablo.
Old Dog of Petey Pablo. This song goes so fucking hard. Oh my god. Do you like this song?
Yeah, I like
or
this song.
is it
No,
really?
no,
Okay.
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah.
I didn't know how you'd feel about it because it is kind of trappy. But holy shit, this beat is crazy, dude. This beat is crazy. And some lines I gotta point out. He says, I was known as the problem child, the Caroline, and bear in mind we never had shit, but now the goat is from this bitch, so that's all past tense. And then everybody keeps talking about the chorus where he says, "No more record deal, yeah, I'm fresh up out of slavery, pay dues, now I want what's due, brother, pay me."
Fire.
I wonder if, like, did you take it as a shot at Rock Nation and Jay-Z, or did you think it was just...
It's got to be, right? Like, he's at least saying, you know, that he's on his own now. But saying fresh up out of slavery kind of makes it more aggressive, you know?
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. Petey Pablo, interesting feature, but man, anytime I want to bump, play some shit in the car, get hype in the gym, I'm throwing on fucking Old Dog, dude.
I love this line about like just that he's kind of put Fayetteville on the map. He's like, now real don't mean that you got paper or you ride Benz or selling white to all your clients that don't mind skiing. Now being real to me, you stand on what the fuck you do. We on the map. We ain't Atlanta, but we snuck on through. That's bar.
He's also thrown a lot of shots at Atlanta in this album, which I think is really funny.
That was more of like we're not as big as
we didn't
Atlanta.
have the clout.
Yeah, exactly. That one's not necessarily a shot, but there's a couple.
True. Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, banger.
Moving on.
I want to say one of my tops for Dis 2, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, Dis 2 starts out hot. Like the Fall Off, the Villas, and Old Dog, like, it's a good 3-track run.
Another good 3-track run, yeah, 100%.
All right, then we get on to Life Sentence.
This is the Trey section of this disc.
This is the love section.
Yeah, this is the love section, and I texted you and told you that I was like, it dwindles a little. Not saying the content was bad, but it does slow down from Life Sentence to Man Up Above, and this is kind of the start of it. How did you feel about it?
It does. I really enjoy all of these tracks, but I will say they kind of start to blend together for me. Like nothing really stands out from these until you get to I Love Her Again. I Love Her Again is fantastic.
Yeah.
I like Life Sentence. Only You I could probably go without.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It just doesn't hit as hard as some of these other ones do. But also that part of that could be just, like I said, not spending as much time with this half of the record.
Yeah, I think with Life Sentence, I mean, it's a pretty straightforward love song, and which I think is cool. I think it fits with this theme of the second disc and maturing and falling in love. And I'm glad it's on here for sure. He's talking about puppy love. Isn't this the song? I don't know if it's this song or no, I think it's actually the next song where he says, "Fuck's the point of being rich if I got to do the dishes," which I think is great. But for Only You, man, the Burna Boy feature. Like, I love the Burna Boy feature. His voice, man. I love Burna Boy. Amanda put me on to Burna Boy forever ago, and his voice is just like bliss and perfection. This is such an interesting duo, another one I never thought I would see. And I love that he's singing about basically being with somebody and wondering like, are they here because I'm rich? Do they really want me? Is this worth the time? Well, maybe if it's not worth the time, it's still worth doing this and having that kind of internal battle. And what am I longing for? And all this other stuff. Like, I think Burna Boy, this song is one of my top songs on Disc 2, just because of his verses in the bridge. And then the outro I think is really cool too. It's from Eve Fontes, and I don't know where it's from. Genius might actually be good for something. The outro is a viral clip of a verse written by Jason O. Wilson's sister, Eve L. Fontes, also known as Light to Flow Minister, back in June 2024. I think it's great. I think it fits perfectly. It talks about women coming after you when you're famous and being able to fight that and stay strong. And I don't know, it works really well with the song. So had to shout out Only You.
Yeah, fair enough. I'll be honest with you, I never heard Burna Boy's name. That might be showing my age a little bit. But yeah, I don't even know who that guy is.
Yeah, he's a Nigerian artist. We played a song for you when you were at the house with me and Amanda.
Oh, wait,
Amanda
really?
showed you. Amanda showed you a Burna Boy song.
Okay,
Yeah,
did I like it?
It was quick. So I think you did. I'll have to figure out which one it was.
All right, word. Said he's
But you've definitely
Nigerian.
heard him before. So you're not you're not officially Unk yet because you have
All right.
heard him.
I mean,
So
I am.
you're just
dude.
big bro.
I'm-
You're just big bro.
All right, sweet. That's not true, but I appreciate it nonetheless. I'm literally an uncle. All right, where are we at now? Sorry, I just
Man
got
up above.
I just got randomly an Ozempic ad came on Genius, so take your shots,
awesome.
kids. Take your Ozempic shots. All right, man up above.
Yeah, I wrote down, this is the weakest song on the whole album for me and the least revisited for me personally. So I don't have a ton of feelings. Do you agree or disagree?
I don't have a ton of feelings on this either. Like I said, at this point, like it kind of was running together a little bit.
And I hate the production on this song, man.
Yeah, it's
I
a little
really
off-putting.
don't like it.
Yeah, it's a little like, it's almost like you try to do a CeeLo Green type thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that is kind of the vibe I got a little bit. That's fair.
All right, we can just skip on by and we can say that we would remove that one. Now this is one of my other favorite songs. I Love Her Again, which I think this is a directly about Fayetteville, right?
I think it's about hip hop.
And
you
then
don't think it's about hip hop?
I mean, I think it could be. I think it's either about hip hop or obviously like he flips the Common track, which like when I first heard his
sick.
voice, yeah, but I was like, I know this song. Like, what is this? And I had to look it up because my memory is Swiss cheese. But yeah, it probably is about hip hop. I know that's kind of like the general theme, or excuse me, the general like idea that other people have. But I think Fayetteville hip hop and women are all interchangeable throughout these tracks. Like it seems like that's it's it's just like love letters to those three things that kind of like float in and out. But you're probably right. It probably is about hip hop.
I didn't catch it really the first time. I was like, man, he's just ripping into some chick that he was really into that moved to Atlanta, and it pissed him off until I clocked that it was, at least in my mind, about hip hop, because then it made sense when he was talking about her changing and mumbling and getting BBLs and doing all this shit. And then the closing line I think is so great when he says, "Mama said you should have known she was like that when you met her." Hip hop is always just, what's the next thing? What's the latest thing, man? That's what we're gonna latch on to, I thought it was really good. Upon re-listening, I enjoyed it more than I did the first time. So I think it's a very good storytelling song, and the Common flip I think is super cool. So Cool song.
Yeah, the flip is sick. All right, now we're on to, what's our time check at? Oh, we're doing good. We're at like 50 minutes. Not bad.
Nice.
What If with Moray Eel.
What if we've talked about this song before.
This is ballsy. What he did here took gumption. Gumption. Yeah, I'm pulling out a southern word for you, for our southern boy. Specifically the Tupac imitation. Like,
which
and
he
it worked.
nails,
He
which
nails,
he
kills
fucking
it.
nails.
But like just the fact that he was like, I'm gonna do this, and I'm sure he had 100 people be like, "You sure you want to do that, man?" And I mean, he absolutely hits it on the head. He does the inflection perfectly on like the with like the downbeat of the word, like that Tupac always did.
Yep.
Um, and
The
almost like
echoing too, or like the double voice thing that Tupac did, like the
yeah,
lyrics over top of each other. Yep.
yeah, and it, it almost made me sad because, like, I just watched the Tupac Biggie documentary, and obviously, like, that's been talked to death 1,000 times. Um, but like, these two guys really were pitted against each other, and like for
Oh,
no real
100%.
issues of their own. So like
100%.
this simple idea of like, what if one of them kind of like bridged that gap between the other one? Like, it's a
Right.
very plausible story of like this is how it
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah. And
It's
had the maturity, like, to the problem is like they were so young. And I think that's why it works so well with being on disc 2, because he's looking at it as a grown man looking back on this, right?
right.
As a almost 40-year-old that could say, look how stupid this was. But Tupac and Biggie were so young, like they weren't thinking like that.
No,
And I
they were
think that's
20,
why, like,
25 years old. Like,
yeah,
the
like,
fuck
and
were
I
you
think
doing?
that's
You were
why
25
it's
years old.
uh, having dumb beefs that now I look back on and say that was really dumb. I
Yeah,
shouldn't
see?
have had those beefs. Like, and I think like that's what's so cool about it. And yeah, it is ballsy, and people are gonna call it cringe. People are gonna call it stupid. People have already been saying like J. Cole's the only guy that could write an apology for Tupac and Biggie like after they died. Like he's
Yeah.
the only one that could do that. But it works, man. He sounds like Biggie when he's rapping, when he's rapping for Biggie. He sounds like Pac when he's rapping for Pac, and it is a mature song on a mature disc. That's the
Yeah.
whole purpose of the disc, is to show the maturity and the growth. And I think it works fucking perfectly, and it's awesome. And if you dislike it and you think it's corny, you're fucking corny, and I don't
Yeah.
like you.
I
So
don't like you
there.
either.
How about that? And now
So
we
it's
have
us
beef,
against
and
you.
I'm
Now
not
we have beef,
apologizing.
and we're gonna come shoot
Yeah.
you up.
Yeah. And in 9 years from now, I'll look back and say I should have been better.
Shouldn't
I
have done
should have been
that.
better.
Disc 49. Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
think that's a really good way to put it as far as it tying into like the maturity themes. I hadn't even really thought about it from that perspective. But you're absolutely right. Like it ties directly into like what he's trying to portray himself growing as. And it's almost like you can use
Right.
it as like a case study of like, this is how maturity can affect your life. Yeah, I think this is, I keep saying like this is my favorite song on the record, but like this is up there. This is it's just so smart, and like I
Yep.
said, it's just ballsy, and the fact that he actually did it is really cool. So yeah, what if is 5 stars?
Well, this is the thing I'm talking about is every time I listen to the album or start talking about it, I'm like, oh no, this is the best song.
Right.
Oh no, this is
Which
the best
is,
song. And
as
that
we
just
have
shows how
seen
good it is.
historically, like that means 10 out of 10. But we'll get there when we
Right.
get there.
Exactly.
Quick stop.
Yes. So I wrote about this song and I re-listened to it today. I said, not sure how I feel about this song yet. I need more time with it. It's definitely about leaving an impact on individuals, and that being all that matters in the end, which I think is the crux of this song. And I wrote the lyric, this life is more than just rap, more than the bitches you scrape, more than the riches you stack. See, it's the difference you make, which I think is great. And I think it's a great message, and again, fits perfectly with the theme of this album and the end of it, right? We're getting to the end, and
Right.
he's looking back and saying, this is what matters. But at the same time, like, I don't really love the way that he's rapping. I don't really love the production. So it's like, I need time to see if it'll grow on me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this
You
is
feel
one
that
that I
way?
probably haven't given enough attention as well, because like kind of coming ooff the high of what if, you know what I mean? Then like looking towards, I'm like, okay, I'm almost at the end of this, and not having re-listened to this side as much as I would have liked. I didn't want to necessarily pass judgment on it, but the idea of like making a difference in people's lives, like that's kind of J. Cole's whole thing, and people call it corny or whatever. But like, fact of the matter is, man, like that's all any artist, I think, any serious artist really wants to do.
100%.
And
Whether
like,
they
that's
say
what
that or not.
and that's what's always separated J. Cole from me, from like, the other, big three or whatever. I mean, Kendrick obviously has the same ideas and comes at it from a different way, but like J. Cole's always been that like kind of humble, real take your lunch pail to work type of rapper. And
True.
for him
Ride the bike. Ride the bike,
exactly.
baby.
And for him to kind of like for him to succeed, in this big endeavor of his final record, if that's what it is like this is kind of a reflective moment for that, which I think
Yeah,
is really cool.
completely agree.
All right, and now
Okay,
on to the final track, pretty much, give or
I
take.
consider it the final track because
It's
I
the final track.
consider Ocean Way as an outro because it's literally one verse.
If
It's
it
two
says
minutes
bonus
long.
on it, it's a bonus. Like we'll do
It's a bonus.
the Isley
Yeah.
brothers. The fact that he flipped the Isley brothers, which is also not to bring pre-lights back up, but like someone that PL samples all the time, is fucking amazing. I actually need to play this. My roommate is a huge Isley brothers fan, so I need to
Nice.
play this for her. But yeah, what'd you think about this one?
I thought it was a great. I thought it was a great closer, and I think it's great that he's. I mean, he's talking about. He's talking about his city and his life in his city, and the fact that my favorite part of it is the best ciphers was football games or at skate and rink wherever all the neighborhoods came. Like that in itself is such a simplistic line, but that's what it's like. That's what it's like for anybody growing up anywhere. It's the same concept of like garage bands when you were a white kid in the Midwest. It's J. Cole's version of that growing up in a hip hop community in the Southeast. Like I think it's awesome, and it's really, to me, it's a goodbye to hip hop music. It's a goodbye to Fayetteville, and it really does feel. It feels like his goodbye. It feels like this works as being his last album, his last song, and I really like how he closed this off. I haven't revisited it a ton, but you can't ask for whatever your feelings are with disc 2. I think it's a perfect intro to disc 2 and a perfect outro to disc 2. It's a nice pieces of bread on the sandwich that is disc 2. So nice. I liked it.
Love that. I like how like the production on this is very like melancholy and like almost like reflective,
bittersweet.
Yeah, bittersweet. It's kind of like like the whole like now the whole world's the Ville, right? Like first off, no one loves their city more than J. Cole loves Fayetteville, North Carolina, which is so endearing. You know what I mean?
It really is. It really is. I mean, and I hope they're proud of him. I hope they're proud.
I'm sure that, dude. Can you imagine being a kid from there? Like, yeah, this is your guy. 100%. Yeah, no, if this is the last ride, like it's a beautiful end cap to an entire career that I think like we will look back on. Like people, I haven't really seen that much online criticism just because I'm not like in those like subreddits and things as much as you are. That wasn't a slight. It's just
good.
True.
No, yeah. I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, it sounds awful. But I think that this will be looked back on as like an absolute masterpiece. And like I said before, it is pretty dense. It is long. Like, could it have been 2 albums? Like maybe, but especially kind of as we've talked about this and like as we've gotten track from track, like it works so well as a one half, second half that. It's almost like the only way that he could have done it. So,
I agree.
A 24 track hip hop album, usually I'm going to kind of turn my nose up at it, but this will be something that stays in rotation for a while. I'm definitely going to go get the vinyl at some point.
Yeah, Sam got it, which is sick. It's fucking huge. It's 4 discs,
That's
front and back, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, I ordered the hard copy, just the CD for my car. It hasn't come in yet.
Nice.
Before we get into reviews, I do want to read something. Speaking of Reddit posts, this was on the first impressions post on Hip Hop Heads, and it's a long thing from a guy named Cole Under Presh, and he used to apparently write articles. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I will read this part. He says it's also an interesting thesis conceptually. The fall off seems to explore the common accepted meaning of falling off. You try to attain success, you gain success, you fear falling off. This is a central theme of disc 1. But Cole's revelation a decade later in disc 2 subverts this meaning, that you can't truly fall off if you accept that the game you're playing is not meant to be seen as a game to conquer or an audience to win over, but what that game had enabled you to do in your life, to flourish, to succeed, to feel satisfaction from mastery of your craft, to make a difference in someone else's life. The core perspective being offered is that you can't ultimately fall off if you frame what it means for you from I made it to I made a difference, because the impact endures forever, regardless of skill or admiration. And then at the end, he says, there's a bunch of other paragraphs, and he says, for that, I think it's a triumph. Only time will tell if it'll gain cultural resonance and age better with time, which is exactly what you were talking about.
Yeah.
Is it going to get, are we going to look back in 10 years and say, like I think we're gonna look at this the way, I don't know if you remember this, but when To Pimp a Butterfly came out, people used to, that album was very divided upon its release. There's people that really thought it was corny, it was stupid, blah 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 blah. Now looking back, you can't find anybody that says that because it aged so well.
Man, I
and
love it when
because
you call me out, tell me I'm right.
it aged so well, and I feel like that's what's going to happen with this album.
Yeah.
I truly think that's what's going to happen.
I would agree. I think the only thing that puts it, you know, because that's my favorite hip hop album ever, and the only thing that puts it like under that is the musicality. And I don't even want to get into the comparison game actually, but some of the musicality and like the jazz fusion and stuff that happens in Butterfly, whereas this is like a little bit more like straightforward hip hop. It's kind of a choose your lane, you know, like this is the beats are a lot, you know, I mean, there's definitely some experimentation going on here, but that experimentation is more so in the concept of like storytelling and some of his references and flips back on like other, you know, artists that inspired him, which is really cool too. So you know, it's I think this will like I already really like it. It's already, we can get into our own reviews I guess now, or do you want to do Pitchfork and Rolling Stone?
No, I don't give a fuck about them, and I'm not giving them a platform for this at all.
I appreciate that. I think Rolling Stone gave it a 3.5, which isn't terrible.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah.
But anyway, this is a 10 out of 10 for me already. Just because of kind of what it means, and you know, there are a couple like skips, but they're not that bad. They're just like, they don't necessarily hold up to the high bar that all the other tracks set. So yeah, for me, I'm gonna give it a 10 burger.
And it's still like, to me, it's still, those tracks still belong, right? Even when I skip them or I don't really like love them, I think they still have a place. Yeah, it's a 10 out of 10 for me too. And I will say, like, I know this doesn't mean anything to J. Cole. He'll never hear it, and it doesn't mean anything for the people of Fayetteville. But I have to say, like, I'm so proud of this dude. I really am. Like, I just felt so proud listening to the album that somebody could tell you that they want this to be their life's work, their magnum opus, magnum opus, and to achieve that goal and to exceed expectations is not an easy thing to do. And like, oh, so good. I'll listen to it forever. And J. Cole will always have a fan in me. And I think it's good to see an artist end their career the way they want to end it. And even if he does, you know, drop something else after the fact, you can still consider this is the end, you know. And if he throws out stuff afterwards, he throws out stuff afterwards. But
for this moment in time right now, like, it is the end, and you're absolutely right. Like, it's incredible to see someone set out a goal for so long that's been like just sneakily talked about for so long, and it actually, you know, work and live up to the hype and be unique and like do all the different things that he wanted it to do. It feels like he really, like, even if you don't necessarily love the album, which I don't really understand you if you don't, but like, you can't deny that he did exactly what he wanted to do. You know what I mean? Like
100%.
What he said he was going to do, he did it. And if you want to be dumb, that's up to you.
And before we go, not to be this guy and bring this up again. And this is kind of like my version of Pretty Lights, but it really does, like, in a very bittersweet way, it does make me think a lot about Mac Miller and how we never got to see him kind of go out on his own terms. And it does break my heart a little bit. It makes me think, like, listening to it, that was one of the first thoughts I had, was like, how would Mac have ended his career? You know, I think about that a lot. And I, like, in my mind, I think Swimming in Circles, those two together, is so similar to this and so similar to the themes, like a 2-disc album and a career ending album. And like, in my mind, I've just written, because the fall off was so beautiful, I've just determined, like, if Mac were still around, he would have stopped after Circles. Like, it would have just been the perfect goodbye to everybody.
Yeah, I hadn't really thought about that. Thanks for the sad note on the way out, but you're not wrong. You're absolutely not wrong. I mean, it's something that I think we've talked about a lot, is how would he have continued on, and yeah. Well, sorry to end it on a bitter note. For the happy note, the fall off is fucking great. If you haven't listened, go listen. And I'm glad you liked it, Trey. If you listen to our review before you listen to it, it probably wasn't the best move, but like, that's okay. Like, maybe you can do a conjunction situation.
True. One of the rare moments where we agree completely on an album.
Almost on every single moment of that album.
Yeah,
pretty much, give or take.
Crazy.
Yeah, look
full
at that.
Circle moment.
Alignment. Cool.
Hell
all right, that was a blast.
Well, it was a blast. Thanks for jumping on unexpectedly. I'm glad we got to do it. And I will see you in less than a week to record our regularly scheduled program.
Peace.